high five.
Packers jumping around. They rush 4. Plenty of time for John now. Squeezes, steps up in the pocket. LA can run. He's got the 10. Head first. He fires at the 5-yard line.
Manning out of the gun. Manning lets it fly. It's caught by Thomas. There's the record for Peyton Manning.
Rushing forward, ball comes out of the hands of Newton. It's on the ground and still on the ground. Picked up by T.J. Ward at the 4-yard line.
Here we go. First snap of the overtime. The Broncos have been in 3 overtime games this year. They won them all. Got him at the 40. It's Thomas at the 50. Stiff arm got him free to the 30. To the 20. Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on the New England. They win it on the first.
Nothing wrong with Orange and Blue Podcast.
What's up, Broncos country? How you doing, MHRT fam? Hey, how you all doing, NRW crew? It's nice to have you back for another episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue Podcast on the MHRT Network. I'm Johnny Baki. I'm your host. With me, my co-host, my best friend, Isaiah Henderson. What's up, buddy? How's your week?
What's up, y'all? It's cold out here. It's raining. The weather sucks.
Here we
but
go
you
again
know what?
with the cold and talking about cold like we're not in one of the currently one of the warmest areas of the country, but that's cool.
We're not currently, but other than that, we got some coaches hired. There's news out there. A few Broncos news, but there's some news out there.
Yeah.
We already got EJ in the chat. Oh, I can't. That's you, John. You're gonna have to do the chat today.
Okay. All right. Well, we got EJ in the chat.
I cannot.
Saying, what's up, Broncos country? What's up, EJ? Avatar also, what's up? He is excited for next season. It's good to see you, Avatar. I'm not, because you did this to me on your show the other day, I'm not acknowledging you, Mundungus. Carolyn Brack says, hey, guys.
What's up, Miss Carolyn?
Ronald Samples, my brother from the Bronco gang. What's up, Broncos country?
Ronald in the house.
All right. Hey, we also have Dave Glassman in the house.
Full Glassman.
Yo, Full Glassman. It's good to see you, brother. It's good to see all of you. So, hey, if you're new here, welcome to the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on the MHRT Network. We are a fan-led, Broncos-based podcast that goes live every Thursday. I almost said Tuesday. Every Thursday, 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Okay? Also, check out our other show, MHRT Podcasts, the MHRT Podcast on Tuesdays, 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. And now we are posting every Wednesday new episodes of Broncos Breakdown with Bronco Bill. So make sure you stop by and check out Bronco Bill's Broncos Breakdown. Do not miss it. You will enjoy it. I promise you. He's a real good guy, real good thoughts, very passionate. We're very happy to be adding him to the family here at MHRT. So, hey, the Broncos have new coaches. I mean, several, not just the one. Last week we got the honor of like being able to be the first ones to talk about the Nathaniel Hackett hire, which that was exciting. Happened that fun. Day, and it was like so fresh, and we've gotten to see the behind the Broncos that came out this week on YouTube about the that whole process and him coming to Denver, and oh my gosh, I am so excited about Nathaniel Hackett, man. I am so pumped to have him here. It was so cool, the things that we were seeing with him, but and we'll get into that also. But I mean, on top of it, hey, we have some more new coaches. We have
Nathaniel Hackett went to
the offensive coaching staff.
Yeah, Nathaniel Hackett went to work immediately. I mean, he got hired, and I mean, now we're just waiting for the best hire, which is defensive coordinator. But we got Justin Outen hired as OC, so that was the tight end coach from the Green Bay Packers.
Some stuff here that I've saved so that we can talk about some of their pedigree and who they are, where they're coming from.
Yeah.
And all that.
So I mean, so Nathaniel Hackett already said he's going to call the plays. So what he wanted was for offensive coordinator, he wanted someone that already knew the scheme, that already knew the type of offense he was going to run. So he brought in someone that's already familiar with that offense. What it does is it helps him.
And he was the tight ends coach for the Packers.
So what it does, it helps him when he's on the whiteboard, but it also helps him when he's coaching the players. When the
new name in the house. Players. While we're talking, new name.
Cheers. What's up, Anthony? Cheers. Welcome to the NRW crew.
Nice to see you, Anthony. Thank you for joining us today. It's nice to meet you, and we hope you enjoy joining the NRW crew. Here's to you. We always toast our new members.
Cheer.
It's good to see you. We
also hired.
Yeah, and Avatar. Here's Avatar shouting out our, the newest member of the MHRT family, as far as podcasters go, and that's Bronco Bill with Broncos Breakdown. His videos on Wednesdays. He says, Avatar says, I learned a lot during Bronco Bill's podcast. So hey,
and that's just another tool added to the MHRT.
It is.
And,
it is. We're trying to grow. We're trying to go, and you know what? And I didn't already mention it, so I'll go ahead and use that. It's a perfect caveat there. We're trying to grow. We're trying to grow the family, get bigger, and all that. So if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to the channel. All right, share it out there, get it out to your friends and family that I know want to be members. They want to be part of the NRW crew and the MHRT fam. They do. I know they do. Now we just need to get that. We just need to educate them, right?
And they know that we know.
They know that we know. That's right. And hit that notification bell too. That way, whenever we go live, you get a notification on your phone that tells you it is time to join us. All right, time
to talk shop.
Stop, whatever else you're doing, stop doing it and go do that.
We also hired Clint Kubiak as a quarterback coach / passing game coordinator, and
of course,
a lot of
Kubiak,
people
of course, being a royalty name in Denver.
Yes, is Gary Kubiak winning a Super Bowl for us. It's that West Coast offense that he brings in, and also knowledge that he brings in, and also he was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings, and during Kirk Cousins' best year of his career.
But he wasn't the best at calling plays, and that's why he's no longer there in that capacity.
That's fine.
It's fine. He's still young, and he's still I'm sure he'll get another chance. It seems to be what happens. So he's coming in and he's going to be our QB coach and offensive pass game
coordinator,
I believe. Yes. Oh, Mobad, our boy Mobad in the house. What's up, Mobad? Johnny in the Dark Knight in the house. Hey, he called you Dark Knight. That's nice of him.
So that's definitely he. And then also Butch Berry was hired as an offensive line coach, which is in 2020 he was the offensive line coach. Mm-hmm. He worked with Nathaniel Hackett in Green Bay, and last year he was the offensive line coach for San Francisco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, you get that. You definitely have an offensive line coach coming from that Shanahan system. So it's going to be interesting. It's a very dynamic offense that he's building. He's bringing the West Coast offense from Green Bay, incorporating the Shanahan offensive line blocking scheme.
Yes, it's exciting.
And I think in that offensive scheme, I believe, Trent Williams motioned a lot.
He did.
Trent Williams would motion, the tackle would motion, and then they'd run a run play off of it. So I mean, that different scheme, different motions, different play calls, different play style, and he's building a very dynamic offense where he can throw anything and everything at you. And the only piece we're missing, which is Ejiro Evero is the next defensive coordinator, and I believe they asked Sean McVay about it
again. One thing I know. All right, here's what I know. All right, here's what it's the likelihood that it's going to be Ejiro Evero as our new defensive coordinator is very, very great. Very, very great. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's the plan. That's they don't, there is no, that's plan A. That's plan 1A, 1B, 1C, and then everything else is B and on from there. That is the plan. However, we have seen, if there's one thing we've seen this hiring cycle, it's that things can change so fast. I mean, for crying out loud, look at yesterday as a perfect example, not Broncos related, but NFL related, right? Jim Harbaugh was pretty much like he, it looked like he was going to be the guy in Minnesota. He was going to be the next head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. That's how it looked. Everybody was ready for it. Heck, even on even on Broncos Country Tonight, Ben and Ryan had already pre-recorded some stuff talking about basically congratulating him for it. And then at the last second, things did not mesh apparently between what the Vikings thought was going on, what he thought was going on, and he was like, "Nope, I'm going back to Michigan."
Same thing with Byron Leftwich. He's
so what I'm saying
is Byron Leftwich is getting ready to pull his name out of the running for the Jaguars head coach because he wanted a different GM. So I mean, things changed quickly with the Broncos, for example, with the Nathaniel Hackett hiring, because he did such a great job on the interview and he was going to Jacksonville for a second interview. George Payton said, "Let's snatch him up." So it changed at the drop of a dime. But I think Sean McVay came up. They asked Sean McVay about Ejiro Evero being the defensive coordinator. I can't remember what he said specifically, but basically, and I think Mike Kliss reported, he said if everything goes, unless a major hiccup happens, he'll be the defensive coordinator.
I mean, we can point to this. Mundungus's point. I will finally acknowledge you, Mundungus. He said Evero and Hackett were college roommates and are best friends, and there's a lot behind that. Like they have been through a lot together outside of football. Best man and weddings and things, that kind of thing. That's how close they are. The only issue that I really foresee happening, obviously, Kevin O'Connell is, being interviewed and he's being looked at around the league for a possible head coaching slot. And if he is poached to become a head coach, if for whatever reason the Rams decided to, what's what I'm looking for, to promote from within and promote Evero to defensive coordinator, that could cause a bit of a problem.
I don't think. Yeah, that's definitely a possibility.
I'm saying, because they can then block him. They could then block him.
I don't think Raheem Morris is going anywhere. You saying if Raheem Morris gets
but it's possible.
You said Kevin O'Connell.
I meant Raheem Morris. I'm sorry. The point is, if their DC gets poached to be a head coach and they decide to promote from within, then they could block that signing. I'm not saying it's going to happen, and I don't foresee it happening. Like you said, I don't foresee Raheem Morris going anywhere. But the point is, it could. And
I don't think. I tweeted this. I don't think he's going anywhere this year. I think a head coaching position is definitely in his future. I don't think it's going anywhere. I don't think it's happening this offseason. So it's going to be really fantastic. But a lot of teams, the Rams, the Packers, for a little bit, the Cowboys, but more the Rams and the Packers have really gotten, they get their coaches, their coaches poached. And I mean, it sucks for the organization, but also it's a very
they're good at making coaches.
It's a very huge compliment.
Hey, Bronco Bill is in the house. Hey guys, can't wait for the season with Hackett. Love the new attitude. And I know that you don't mean on this show, because this has always been the attitude on this show. I know you mean in Broncos country in general, Bill.
Yes, I mean, there's a good energy. Everyone's excited.
Absolutely.
Travis Tarbox.
Yeah, he says, hello, fellas. Seems like we're about to take a leap into the future of the NFL. Super excited for this young coaching staff so far. DB for life.
Very young. I mean, there's a complete turnaround. I mean,
oh my gosh,
George Payton let Vic Fangio and Teddy Bridgewater have their time. He was silent. He gave it to him, and then he just completely flipped it. Just flipped the organization. He was like, okay, all right, you had your chance. Now I'm going to do what I have to do, and just completely flipped it. So it's beautiful. I'm enjoying it. I mean, the coaching staff, I think Nathaniel Hackett's 42.
How can we not be?
Justin Outen is 38, 36.
I'm gonna, you know what? We're gonna talk about him. We're gonna talk about him. I've got it here.
We have a new name, Johnny. Here.
What?
Sean Ireland.
New name in the chat. Sean Ireland. We saw him. This is his first time with our show, I believe. I know we saw Sean a few days ago on MHRT podcast. So, Sean, welcome to Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue. You are now a member of the NRW crew. It's good to see you. Here is to you.
Cheers.
All right, it's good to see you. He says it could happen, but it's probably not going to happen, and I know that, and I agree. I don't think that the block is going to happen as far as the Evero hiring process goes. I'm just saying that what we have seen recently is that things happen very fast.
Yes,
and things
quickly
have changed like 180 really quickly this hiring cycle. I'm not foreseeing it happening, but it is a possibility. So be prepared that who is the other one? Weaver, that they were considering for DC. His name is in there. I remember.
We also are considering on the other front, Dwayne Stoops is in the mix to become the next special teams.
Yeah, I saw that. Okay, so here I'm pulling this up. We're going to go through a little bit of the resumes. This is coming out of an article from a good friend of our show. He's been on our show before. He's the lead writer for the Denver Broncos, Eric DeLalla. And this came off of DenverBroncos.com. He was talking about Justin Outen or Outen. It's Outen. I keep saying Outen. It's Outen. Outen. But for whatever reason, every now and then I'm like Justin Outen. I sound like I sound Canadian. Sorry, Rich. Like Justin Outen. But let's see. Travis, real quick, we'll talk about this. Travis has been following the Senior Bowl practices this week, but I'm getting ready to watch the East-West All-Star game. No one seems to have covered any of these players in the All-Star game. Curious as to why, and I wish I could tell you. I don't know.
Is the East-West All-Star game, is that the best players in college versus the Senior Bowl, who's people potentially entering the draft?
So the All-Star game, it's kind of, from what I understand, it's kind of like the Pro Bowl where these players get voted in.
So you'll have players that aren't necessarily
different
declaring
ages,
for the draft.
like they don't have to be seniors. The Senior Bowl, you have to be a senior to participate.
Yes. So what I'm thinking is,
so even if you're a sophomore or junior that has announced themselves for the draft, you still can't play in the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. So I'm thinking what it is for the Senior Bowls for scouts and for coaches and GMs. The Senior Bowl is the guys who have the most college experience, the guys that are potentially declaring for the draft, the guys that are trying to get there.
Thank you, Ron.
Their last good game in. And I believe that's where we found Quinn Miners, and Quinn Miners blew up was the Senior Bowl.
No, we found him at the Combine.
That's what it was.
It was at the Combine that we discovered Quinn Miners because he was coming in from a little known like backwater school.
Yeah, but the East-West game is you might see some great players that aren't necessarily declaring for the draft. They want to focus on guys who most likely who are declaring for the draft and they can have next year or they can pick up in the draft.
Sean says, thank you. Happy to be a part of the family. Just moved to Denver after spending most of my life in Green Bay.
Are you secretly Aaron Rodgers?
So here's my question. Are you secretly Aaron Rodgers? Don't lie to us, Sean. Don't lie to us. We'll find out. We will. No, it's great to see you, Sean. So I do want to ask real quick, were you always a Broncos fan living in Green Bay, or were you a Green Bay fan who moved to Denver? I just want to know. I mean, it doesn't matter one way or the other. You're always welcome in the NRW crew, but it is nice. It is nice to hear that you came to the Mile High City. Isaiah and I don't actually live here. You're new to the fam. So Isaiah and I live in near Nashville, Tennessee. But that's all right. Whereas, Broncos country is wherever we're standing, right?
Yeah.
Wherever someone who's a Broncos fan is standing, that is Broncos country right there. So, all right. So, hey, let's talk real quick, y'all. Let's talk about.
He says, no, he's not Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that's what Aaron Rodgers would say.
That's exactly. Yeah, that's right. No, LOL. That's exactly what Aaron would say. That's exactly what I expect Aaron to say. You're so Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, you're not Sean. You're not.
You don't
Aaron.
need to. You know what? The cat's out of the bag, Sean Island. You don't need to lie to us anymore, buddy. I mean, AKA Aaron Rodgers, Ron. It's good to see you, buddy. All right, so let's talk about our new coaches that have been hired. I believe the hires went down yesterday. Where they were officially hired by Nathaniel Hackett, our new coach, who's been our coach for 1 week as of today. So we now have Justin Outen, offensive coordinator. He was the tight ends coach for Green Bay. He spent the last 3 seasons with the Packers. He's not really going to be calling plays. Nathaniel Hackett has said that he will be calling plays. He wants someone to help install his offense, who can teach the players his offense and assist getting them ready each week to week for each game, right? And I'm sure from time to time he will be given some play calling duties because that seems to be what guys like Nathaniel Hackett start to do. But definitely starting out, I believe it'll all be mostly Nathaniel Hackett, being backed by Outen. So let's see. He oversaw the tight ends group in 2019, and they scored 18 rush. They helped the Packers score 18 rushing touchdowns with their blocking. That tight end group. So that's that's in a season. That's pretty impressive.
But Nuggets brought up a good point, and if you could bring it up,
sure.
Where is it? He mentioned something about it.
Okay.
Outen is the coach that helped make Tanyan the Pro Bowl tight end over the last few seasons.
Yes, he is. And it's awesome. It's
So I
absolutely
mean, with
awesome.
Alberto and Noah Fant, that's very interesting. That's very good, and that's I mean, if these guys should be excited.
Hang on, I'm pulling this back up. I just lost it. But we'll keep talking about Outen here. Let me see. I apologize. I lost what I had pulled up for this.
Bronco Bill actually says, "I'm stoked to have Clint back in Denver. What do you both think of that hire?" I think it was different. I think it was outside the box. I think it wasn't something that was on my radar. But I think it's a good hire. It brings in someone who's familiar with the system, who has knowledge of and understands how to the X's and O's and how to call plays. But this time he takes a step back from that, and now his job is to focus on the passing game and the quarterback. So whoever the quarterback will be, if it's Aaron Rodgers,
right.
He is
So
the quarterback coach. But if it's whoever it might be, he can talk them through, hey, the X's and O's, and hey, you're gonna look at this on this play, you're gonna look at this and that. So I think it's a good hire. I think Nathaniel Hackett did a good job with that hire. So I agree with that.
We'll definitely dive more into Clint here in a second. I'm still want to finish talking about Outen. So going back to Mundungus' point, Robert Tonyan actually tied a franchise record for the most touchdown receptions by a tight end in Green Bay under Justin Outen. Okay,
so he's a fantastic tight end coach.
He's a fantastic tight ends coach. Now before that he was with the Atlanta Falcons for 3 years. In 2016 he started out there as an offensive intern. So he's elevated quickly. If you think about it. That's what 6 years. 6 years.
Now he's an offensive
he started 6 years ago. He was an intern, and now he's an offensive coordinator. It shows how fast it happens and how much it helps who you know. Let's see. Oh, I lost it for a second there. Let me see. Okay, and he was an offensive assistant from 17 and 18 with the Falcons. They had the third ranked total offense and fourth ranked scoring offense during his tenure with the Atlanta Falcons.
So he might not have been the schemer or the play caller.
No, absolutely not.
He definitely had a hand.
He was part of
in
that
successful offenses and successful position
it's
coaches.
Great.
So I don't see that changing. I think that's
And during that time, the Falcons also ranked in the top 10 in yards per play, passing offense, plays of 10 plus yards, giveaways, and yards per carry during that time. Wow. So, not bad. I'm not saying
you give him. You
can't say he was solely responsible for that.
Yeah, but I mean, he has a role to play, and if he
definitely has a role to play
his role well, they wouldn't have been as successful. I mean, he's just a piece of the puzzle, and now you give him an a better offensive roster with the scheme, the Green Bay scheme. I think this is he has the potential to be a great offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Travis is just curious, off topic. Did you guys get any snow? I live in Arkansas. We've had a blizzard.
We're
supposed to get We're supposed to get ice, freezing rain. I don't think it's
tonight,
snow.
turning into snow tomorrow. That's what it's supposed to be.
It won't be. I don't think it'd be much.
It's been raining here all day, so much so that the road out of my neighborhood is currently flooded.
Yeah, it's been raining like crazy.
It's been raining like crazy. It's like monsoon raining here right now, and it's supposed to freeze overnight, become a sheet of ice, and then it's supposed to turn to snow tomorrow. So wonderful! I'm super excited to have although I am thankful. Tomorrow is my second day off of the week, and I don't have to go to work in this.
I do, and then I have drill this weekend, so let's get excited.
Sorry, buddy. So let's move on to Butch Barry, our new offensive lines coach. I am going to say, here is to Mike Munchak.
Yes,
it's very. We love you. We in Broncos country. We in the. I can't speak for the entire MHRT fan, but I can speak for Nothing Rhymes. We love you, Munch. We're going to miss you. It's unfortunate. The unfortunate nature of the business is even if you've done a phenomenal job. When someone else comes in to lead, oftentimes you are shown the door simply because they know they have their people they want. And so it's sad to see you go, Munch, and we wish you the best and hope that, and hope the best for you moving on, that you move on and you find somewhere that, will appreciate and utilize your gifts and your talents as a coach. But now we can move on, and we're going to focus on Butch Barry, the new offensive line coach of the Denver Broncos, which, by the way, I'm in no way trying to insult the guy, but the picture that they used for his personnel photo, he looks terrifying. Like he looks like the guy. He looks like the guy that would stand outside the bar, getting ready to bounce people, trying to make it in without who aren't on the list. You know what I mean? He looks scary.
I mean, his name is Butch. He has to.
He's a tough looking dude. So Butch Berry he was with the 49ers this last season as a assistant offensive line coach.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, he was in the 2020 season, he was with the Packers as a senior analyst. So he actually hasn't been in the NFL for very long. But he in 2019 he was with the University of Miami as their O-line coach. He was in a Tampa Bay Buccaneers assistant O-line coach in 2015 to 2018. Before that, he coached for 13 years at the collegiate level. So I mean, he's been around.
He's been moved. Yeah, he's been around.
He's been around. He's newer. He hasn't been in the NFL as long as some of these coaches, but he has been coaching football for a long time. So that's pretty much all the information I have on him right now. I tried to do a deep dive and couldn't find much more. So we'll see. Nathaniel Hackett seems to know something I don't, and that's okay. That's why he's the coach and I'm not. John Elway and George Payton never picked up the phone. I don't know why. I found it very upsetting. So last but not least, let's move on to Clint Kubiak. Of course, who is carrying the Kubiak name that we all know so well in Denver. Son of, our wonderful coach, our wonderful head coach that led us to Super Bowl 50. He was, his dad was also our offensive coordinator for 10 years when he was and was offensive coordinator during our first 2 Super Bowl victories. And he was John Elway's backup at quarterback in the earlier years of Elway's playing days. He has been, so the Kubiak name carries a lot of weight in Denver. So Clint is definitely coming from his dad's and Mike Shanahan's West Coast offense style.
Mm-hmm.
He spent this last year as the offensive coordinator for the Minnesota Vikings. It didn't go as well for him there, unfortunately. We're sorry, Clint. It doesn't always work the first time. But he's been around. He has 8 years of NFL experience. He was the Vikings quarterback coach from 2019 to 2020. And then he worked with the Broncos from 16 to 18 as an offensive assistant and quarterbacks coach. Before that, in 13 to 14, he was with the Minnesota Vikings quality control assistant wide receivers coach. And then he's also coached collegiate. He did Texas A&M from 2010 to 2012 and also coached the Kansas Jayhawks. I'm not sure what his position was there exactly, but I know that he was with Kansas in 2015.
What years did you say he coached for Texas A&M?
For A&M, he was 2010 to 2012.
So he was there with Von Miller.
No.
Wait.
Let's see. Von Miller, I believe, was drafted in 2011.
Yeah, so he was there with Von
Miller. He might have been for one little bit there. Yeah.
You said 2010 to 2012, right?
Yeah. He would have been there for 1 year with Von Miller. So there you go. But it is what it is. I don't think he was ever a defensive coach.
No,
I don't think he would have ever been in any way directly coaching Von Miller. He just happened to be on that staff. So let me see. I'm going to jump back. Oh, we have not seen him in a while. Savage Sev Cisneros.
Savage Sev.
What up, Sev? Good to see you, brother. It's been a while, man.
Yeah, welcome back.
I'm excited to see you. Sev says, bro, I'm so tired of the energy around Broncos country being so depressing. Even out here in Denver, I'm so ready for change. Hey, Sev, bro, it's coming.
Hold on.
It's coming, man. It's here. Actually, no, you know what?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's it. It's not coming. It's already here, my friend. I mean, if you have not already, Sev, and I'm sure you have, but if you've not already, I mean, you got to watch both the introductory press conference of Nathaniel Hackett and the Behind the Broncos 30-minute, documentary, where you see him talking and the whole everything that went in to Nathaniel Hackett coming to Denver, because it will pump you up about the change that is coming to Denver. I am so excited about it. So excited.
We just need that one missing piece.
One missing piece. The first domino has fallen. All right, and little dominoes have started falling with it with our coaching staff. Once we get that we've got an OC in place now. Once we get that DC in place, we can start talking quarterback.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
what
gonna
did
happen. It's gonna happen, buddy.
What did Liam Neeson say in the A-Team? I love it when a plan comes together.
I love it when a plan comes together. And that was, by the way, that was not made famous by Liam Neeson.
I know that, Johnny.
Made famous by George Papard in the original A-Team in the 80s. But
I'm sorry, I wasn't alive yet.
Neither was I. Was born at the tail end of it, so I don't remember it outright. I just watched a lot. Shut up. Nobody asked. You jerk. You know what? I'm gonna go get my horse and buggy, and I'm gonna run you down. 1880s.
Brian Captain, in the name, Johnny, pick that one up.
Where's that? Brian Captain that looks like a new name too. He says he wants Willis at number 9. Nice to see you, Brian. Welcome to the NRW crew. Here's to you, my friend.
His draft capital and draft value definitely increased greatly. And last I heard, the Steelers are very, very, very interested in Malik Willis at number 9, which I can see with Big Ben retiring. They traded draft positions with us. I think in 2019, and we got Noah Fant at number 20.
Yeah,
they switched and they got Devin Bush, and then we got Noah Fant. So I'm also thinking that it's possible that the Steelers may trade up with us, and we may go to, what is it? I believe
I don't
draft. I mean, we'll go back, but what do we want to trade for? You want their second round pick, or do you want their 2023 first round pick?
Ooh,
I know. In 2019, I think we got two twos.
Yeah,
for that.
I'm not sure. Boggins would know. I'm just now starting to get into my draft stuff. I'm starting to build my board and starting to look.
Yeah, we got 2 twos in 2019. Now this is assuming we don't get Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson.
It is because if we get one of them, we're definitely giving up this year's first round pick.
Yes.
Anyway, but here's the thing. I'm going to talk on Willis for a second. From the things that I'm hearing from the the Senior Bowl, is that Willis definitely has the highest, what appears to be possibly the highest upside of all the quarterback candidates in this class. There is definitely some concern to his accuracy. He seems, I believe I heard
some. That's coachable. That's very
coachable. I've heard someone compare currently. He kind of has a very Kirk Cousins kind of feel to him. So that's what I've heard.
In regards to accuracy?
In just regards to the way the kind of player he reminds you of. Like if you have to, I'm not one of those. I don't like comparisons too much because I feel like each guy is unique. You know what I mean? But if you're going to compare, if you want to try to come up with somebody that, you kind of get an idea of what you might be looking at, the closest you might be able to come to from Malik Willis is Kirk Cousins right now. So we'll see. I mean, who knows? Carson Strong has been down there and everybody's been talking about that big arm.
Yeah.
Like he's got an amazing arm, but he's not a very athletic quarterback. Doesn't move well outside the pocket, which unfortunately, I'm sorry, no matter what anybody says, this league is definitely starting to disappear away from the quarterback that can't move.
It's faster because NFL's faster, unless you have an incredible offensive line. I mean, Mac Jones did it last year. They went to the playoffs. But you have guys like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson.
Any of them.
These guys
even
that take
though
off.
He sucks at it. Even Jimmy Garoppolo gets out.
Yeah, and even our last game in the NFL, our last game last season, Drew Lock had 2 rushing touchdowns, big touchdowns. So I mean, you have to be able to move.
It's not something we're seeing from Carson Strong. He's got a cannon of an arm. One thing, like Ben Albright said this. I think it was a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago. 30 years ago, Carson Strong would have been the number one in the NFL draft. Number 1 pick in the NFL draft. He would have been like, in the era of Elway, Marino, any of them. With Carson Strong, with his arm the way it is, would have been right up there with them getting drafted. The problem is the NFL has, as it does with all things, has evolved past that. And we're seeing, and so that's it. Good question. We got a few good questions here. Oh, and Dave Glassman did remind me Carson Strong has that bad knee going on right now. So
yeah,
there's that. Travis says he's hoping for Trevor Penning at 9 and then maybe we can trade back into the late first, maybe with our 2 seconds or our 2/3 for Willis. And that's great. I definitely am going to have,
Trevor Penning's that guy that just throws the edge rushers down, doesn't he? He has a thing where they rush and he's blocking, he just launches them on the ground. I was watching him. I think he's left
great.
tackle,
I actually like Falele right now. That he's my favorite guy.
Trevor Penning's a left tackle though, isn't he? Or is he?
I believe so. Falele, I can't remember his first name. Is a right tackle.
It's Daniel. I think it's Daniel.
I think it might be Daniel Falele. Everything like the things that have been coming out about him, I want to see. The guy they're calling him a bulldozer on the right side. I mean, the guy is 6'8", 380 pounds with like an 86 and 3/8 wingspan.
And the mock drafts, I don't think he makes it out of the first round.
But yeah. Daniel, thank you. Rich is right.
I wouldn't be surprised if
so we've been confirmed.
I could see us getting him.
It'd be amazing. I mean, I still like Bobby Massey.
Excuse me, but
we can't get someone like Falele.
Cincinnati. I wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati snatched him up or Penning.
Cincinnati's not. I mean, well, here's the thing. It depends on where he goes because I'm hearing anything from he could go late day 1 to, early day 2, or even late on day 2. I mean, he's
in the mock drafts. I've seen him go day 2,
area.
But there's a possibility Cincinnati might take him at the 31st or 32nd pick.
Yeah, it's possible. It's possible.
Eclipse Stormborn. I think that's a new name, Johnny, as well in the comments. Says Happy Thursday, folks.
Oh, yeah, that's another name. Man, we're just seeing all the new names in here today. Eclipse. Welcome to the NRW crew. It is good to see you. And thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy yourself. I like this question here by Sean, going back to Mr. Ireland. Sean, we always come up with nicknames for people. When we find one that we think is good for a nickname, I'm gonna call you Lucky, if that's okay.
Johnny, you're Irish, aren't you?
Part, a little bit. Yeah, it's in there. It's
what
in
does
there
my
somewhere.
shirt say? What does my shirt say that you gave me that one St. Patrick's Day years ago? I'm Irish-ish.
Yeah, it said I'm Irish-ish. Yeah,
I still get compliments on that shirt all the time.
That shirt's amazing. So anyway, to Sean Ireland, because of the luck of the Irish, I'm going to call you Lucky, if that's all right with you, Sean. Let me know in the comments if you're still cool with that. Would y'all be open to bringing back Billy Turner at right tackle? Aaron has always talked highly on him. I would not be opposed to it, but the problem is the price tag. At this point, Billy Turner has accrued quite a large price tag.
Is he? Tell me who Billy Turner is, Johnny.
Billy Turner was a tackle for the Broncos. I want to say it was in the 2015-2016 season. He was never our starter that I recall. He backed up some people, but since he left the Broncos, he's blossomed.
Where's he playing at now?
He's at Green Bay.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
So,
is he a free agent, or is he?
He's coming into free. I think he's coming into free agency, but his price tag is going to be a large one. So we'll see.
I wouldn't be opposed to it. I like Bobby Massey. I know his wife his wife loves Denver. Because we follow her, Angela. I think her name is Angela Massey. Follow her on Twitter.
Angel. Her first name is Angel.
Angel. I thought Angel. Sorry, Angel. And she absolutely loves it. And it's funny because she always updates when Bobby Massey was out. She was giving updates on Twitter. He'll be back this week. He's fantastic.
She's got her own podcast, I believe, Health and Wellness podcast, and it's really. Really informative. I've listened to one.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. So we know they love Bobby Massey did a good.
He did a good job.
Really, really good job. He did a good job.
He did a great job coming in when he did and doing what he did.
Yeah, and
he stayed healthy when he was healthy.
And I think what George Payton has to do is we don't want to. That's one thing on the offensive line is we've had a revolving door of right tackles.
Yeah.
So DeMar Dotson did a fantastic job last season. He didn't give up not a single sack. Him or Garrett Bowles didn't. But Bobby Massey came in and stepped up. And I think we're going to either re-sign Bobby Massey. We're going to have to sign him. I think we're going to, regardless of who it is, our right tackle is going to have a long-term contract. because I don't think we're going to do this 1 year free agent right tackle positions anymore.
No, I don't think so.
I think George Payton wants to have a solidified team,
and he would like every position solidified. So I'd be okay with Billy Turner, or I'd be okay. I mean, if you get Billy Turner, I mean, what else can you say about Aaron Rodgers coming to Denver? I mean, you got his coach, you got his offensive coordinator, you got his tight end coach.
Yes.
You have his old assistant offensive line coach, and then you're going to get his right tackle. And some people were talking about even getting his receiver. So I mean, I don't.
No,
but I wouldn't be opposed.
I'm still adamant that Devontae Adams is not going to be a thing.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
I honestly, it's not. He's not necessary for the Broncos.
Absolutely not.
If we got him in addition to Aaron Rodgers, hey,
you can't complain because the natural chemistry.
You can't complain,
of those two,
but we don't.
Phenomenal.
But he's not necessary.
It's not necessary. We have 4 very talented receivers, each with some very, very good, each with their own very good specific skill set to what they do well. I don't see Devontae Adams as a necessity in Denver. It would be a nice commodity, but not a necessity. And I hate to say that. I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should. I don't know. Commodity. These are players. These are people. But I mean,
I see him.
You gotta think
that
what the business of the NFL deals in is people. They're talent.
I can see Devontae Adams. I definitely see Devontae Adams more going to Philadelphia, because they definitely need another receiver on the other side of Devontae Smith. And like everybody in the comments is saying, his price tag is too much. And then Glenn said the Matthews actually moved to Colorado before he landed with the Broncos.
Well, it's where he wants to be.
So
it's where he wants to be.
And George Payton is in the business.
We're having all kinds of people in the chat right now, talking up what I was saying. That Turner is too expensive, and he's older. I mean, he's 30.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's for a right tackle, that's getting up there. He probably doesn't have too much tread left on the tires. Maybe some, but not a whole lot. So hey, excuse me. Wow, I want to talk about a few other things. I want to move on from this. I would like to bring up. I don't want to go too deep into it because we try to stay away from stuff that is hot button topics on this show. But at the same time, it's Broncos news. It's not something that we can just avoid. So this insane lawsuit by Brian Flores against the NFL, right? Like against he named the NFL, he named the Miami Dolphins, the New York Football Giants, the Denver Broncos, and then John Doe teams numbering 1 through 29. Whatever. But more specifically on the Broncos side of it, basically, if you don't know what's going on, I'm sure you do. I'm sure most everybody in the house tonight knows. But let's talk about it. What are you talking about, Bill? Where are the facts? Are you talking about in reference to this current lawsuit situation? I don't know. I mean, I don't know where they are, but here's what it's coming down to is Brian Flores got fired from the Miami Dolphins, and then he was interviewing around the league in several different places for head coaching positions this season. Didn't get the one he thought he got, apparently, which that's a whole other bag of cats that I'm not even going to open. It has to do with some stupid text messages between him and Bill Belichick and a few other things. But basically, he is, if you don't know what the Rooney Rule is, the Rooney Rule is a rule that was put in place, I think with the best, I don't know if you'd agree with me, Isaiah, but I think with the best intentions to try to help coaches of minority.
To simplify it, it's the affirmative action for the NFL.
Yeah,
it's affirmative
that's a
action
great way
for
to
the
say
NFL,
it.
Which, if you're following it out there, it's actually going before the Supreme Court to see whether or not it's constitutional, which is a completely separate issue. So the Rooney Rule is affirmative action for the NFL, and he named this in the lawsuit. My personal opinion, I don't think he worded it the right way. I think he used a lot of buzzwords to get people's attention. But basically, and the irony of it is, his problem is with affirmative action. And I understand why. Personally, I think you hire someone on the merits
of their job, not the color of their skin. And me and Johnny spoke about this. Could you imagine going to a job interview, preparing, getting all the
putting
questions
everything
right,
you've got into
dressing up, everything you ready to go in there, and then to have the thought process on your mind of, am I here because of my marriage or because of the color of my skin? So his grievance is, and me personally, I think the lawsuit will be dismissed.
There's not enough. I don't think there's enough.
I think because when you have big lawsuits like this, the NFL has their Brian Flores. It's a class action lawsuit, so he's it allows other personnel, other parties to join in the lawsuit.
Yes.
Number one. Number two, the NFL has a huge counsel. So the first thing they do with lawsuits like this is the first thing the defense always does. They file a motion to dismiss. So they're going to file a motion to dismiss. I think it will get dismissed because I don't think he has standing.
No, he doesn't. Now, one thing
he's trying to say is basically with the totality of circumstances is NFL coaches abided by the Rooney Rule. Therefore, I'm suing them because they followed the rule. Now, it's unfortunate that some situations in which he was interviewed in was due to the color of his skin.
Sure.
But I don't think his grievance is with the teams. I think it's with the rule.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
He mentioned it, but I think he should have focused more on that rule itself than trying to point out specific instances and specific coaches. And specific
I'm sure the only reason he pointed out specific instances was because his lawyer made him come up with something.
Yes, yeah, that's why I said he used a bunch of. He used a bunch of words.
Exactly how the Rooney Rule works. The Rooney Rule. Good Lord, I almost said Rooney Rule. The Rooney Rule states that when teams are in a coaching hire, they're attempting to hire a coach. They are required to interview at least one coach who's a minority. That's what it is. And it was, and like you said, Isaiah, it's affirmative action, and it was put in place with the best intentions to try to help coaches of minority, have a better chance of getting hired. But it's ended up being more of a problem, because especially when you have these teams that say know who they want, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the New York Giants, they've been named alongside the Broncos by Brian Flores in this whole thing. They came into this season for their coaching their coaching search, knowing they wanted Brian Daboll, who was the offensive coordinator of the Bills at the time. They knew that that's who they wanted. They didn't want anybody else. They just wanted him. But because of the Rooney Rule, they had to follow it. Now, I'm not saying that the Giants were wrong in this. They're just following the rule. And that's the problem. That's the problem he's pointing out. It
was first made in 2003.
Yeah. That's the problem he's pointing out is, hey, yeah, they wanted him, and that's cool, but they brought me in, and they had no intention in his mind of hiring me. They just brought me in as a technicality, simply to be within the confines of that rule.
Yes,
so I can understand his frustration there. Now going on to what he named the Broncos in, he's claiming that in 2019, when we were on our coach search a coaching cycle ago, in 2019, then John Elway and Joe Ellis showed up. They appeared to not give it, to only be coming in, having him and interviewing him as a technicality. Is following the rule, because in his mind, the way he said it, he remembers it. They showed up late, is what he claimed, and then they showed up looking disheveled, like they didn't care. And then he actually claimed that they smelled of that he thinks they smelled of liquor, or it looked like they've been drinking all night.
Well, that's it's going to be interesting, because in the court of law,
you gotta have proof of that.
Yes. That's complete conjecture and speculation.
It's complete conjecture, but
I want to read this. It's not, and you can't prove it. So
I want to read this. I have here.
Before you read it, Johnny. Okay. Before you read it, the Rooney Rule is, I think, what Brian Flores is upset about is the Rooney Rule was set up for equality of opportunity. What he's upset about is equality of outcome.
Yes,
the Rooney Rule was never guaranteed for a specific outcome. It was guaranteed to set up an opportunity.
Yeah.
And so I think his frustration should be redirected at the Rooney Rule. And it's very ironic. It's a double-edged sword that he's upset himself because teams they abided by the Rooney rule.
They were just
and so
abiding by the rule.
And so I have no qualms. I have no qualms whatsoever with the New York Giants. For example, for the information that's been released that we do have currently, I have no issue with the New York Giants. I mean, there's no problem with having your guy and knowing the guy that you want. There's no problem with that. And then you have the guy you want, and you're like, oh man, we have to do this rule. Interview Brian Flores. So I understand Brian Flores' perspective about decrying racism because you're interviewed based off the color of your skin, but the irony of it is absurd. It's really crazy how ironic it is that he's upset at a rule that they created to help minorities, and now he's pissed off about it. But go ahead and read the statement.
I mean, the problem, part of the statement, and I get it though. I get it. I'm gonna agree with you real quick. Then I'll read the statements. I get what you're saying. It is ironic that the rule was put in place to help, but it was something like that. Unless it's taken very seriously, I want to say it that way. Unless it's taken very seriously, it ends up, in my opinion, kind of looking like it hurts more than it helps. Like I said, the rule was put in place in 2003 with the best intentions, but ultimately,
I think they should have had a sunset clause where it's no longer required, but it's hard to gauge.
Yeah,
when that certain time is. I think maybe
there needs to be something
years
done.
ago.
There needs to be something done or added to it, taken away.
Well, they're gonna get rid of it. And Jeffrey Bryan says
they're gonna look at all the
Jeffrey Bryan says I have zero doubt that these older ownership situations have issues with race. I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that either. The question is, can we prove that in a court of law?
And that's where
Glenn says, don't they film all interviews, which me and Johnny talked about. So if they were to, so he said it was only John Elway and Joe Ellis.
And to accuse someone without facts is wrong. I mean,
so to have he said it was only John Elway and Joe Ellis. He said those are the only two people that interviewed him. So if there's videotape that there was multiple, that hurts his case a lot. It puts into doubt. It hurts his credibility and the validity of the lawsuit. If the Broncos come out and say, hey, here's the video of the interview. Here's the video of the personnel that were there. This proves that his facts are wrong. And that really hurts. And what's going to happen with that is, even though it's a class action and allows other parties to join, what's going to happen is if the Broncos can put out evidence showing that refuting everything he's saying, or a lot of what he's saying, or prove him to be wrong, that's going to completely blow. That's going to honestly yeah, I was just talking about that.
This right here, the filming the interviews. That's
what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's going to completely destroy the lawsuit, and it's going to fall apart.
I asked Ben Albright that today on Twitter, and some other people did, and he ended up not responding to mine because he responded to a few other people. So I checked it out. Not all teams film the interviews. The Broncos did on this cycle. He's not sure if they did or not.
Well, they have to have some type of surveillance camera of them walking into the room.
Something. But the point is, like, as far as the filming of the interview goes, he's not sure if they filmed the interview with Brian Flores or not. I know that he knows that George Payton filmed every interview on this cycle. Yes. Some teams don't film at all.
Now, if the Broncos should have enough, with John Elway.
Well, here's the statement. Here's the statement from the team. This is the statement put out by the team in regards to these allegations. The allegations from Brian Flores directed towards the Denver Broncos in today's court filing are blatantly false. Our interview with Mr. Flores regarding our head coaching position began promptly at the scheduled time of 7:30 a.m. on January 5th, 2019, in a Providence, Rhode Island hotel. There were 5 Broncos executives present for the interview, which lasted approximately 3.5 hours, the fully allotted time, and concluded shortly before 11 a.m. Pages of detailed notes, analysis, and evaluations from our interview demonstrate the depth of our conversation and sincere interest in Mr. Flores as a head coaching candidate. Our process was thorough and fair to determine the most qualified candidate for our head coaching position. The Broncos will vigorously defend the integrity and values of our organization and its employees from such baseless and disparaging claims. That is the statement from the team.
Which I'm sure the Broncos will. And Broncos Bill says, doesn't it come down to the ability to be the best at that position? It's the best person for the job, regardless of color.
It is.
And honestly, the Rooney Rule, it just shows the progression of where we've come, where we were and where we've come, is that it backfired.
It backfired big time.
And so you can't, and from my knowledge of the facts that's being presented right now that we have is that you can't sue someone for following the rules.
No, but what he can do is make it noticed. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I think he should
planted a seed. He's struck a spark.
I don't think so. I mean, there might have been another way to attack the Rooney Rule, or to sit down and have a discussion about it. So with I think it was the NFL. No, I don't think it was NFL Players Association that helped bring in the Rooney Rule. But I think there's multiple ways to go about it and to get rid of the Rooney Rule, because it's actually really insulting. It's offensive. It's offensive, and it's racist. I'm gonna say it's racist. Because you're interviewing someone based on the color of their skin, regardless of what skin color it is, and it completely backfired. But the way, and people aren't really saying that because the way he worded it and the buzzwords he put in it, they want to focus on the other those words that they brought up.
Glenn says, "I'm sure the red flag was raised when Elway showed up on a scooter and couldn't stop hiccuping."
What is that about?
There's a video out. Well, like I said, Brian Flores claimed that Elway appeared to have been drinking all night. And most of Broncos country knows that we've seen John Elway taking sips of some good-looking, dark liquor drinks before.
Mm-hmm.
There is a video out there. I don't know where it was filmed, but those scooters that we see on the streets of Nashville, you rent a scooter and people are rolling around on them. There's some video out there of Elway just smiling going by on one of those scooters somewhere.
Oh.
So anyway, it's funny.
But
I want to bring this up real quick. I want to bring this in because this came out today. Now, this was Elway making his own statement.
Hold on.
Okay.
Pull up Rich's comment because I wanted to bring this up. Pull up Rich's comment. He said, "Furthermore, as I said on Tuesday."
Okay. Furthermore, as I said on Tuesday, I found it curious that the video used the term equitable 3 or 4 times.
See this, and I didn't use this word, but I'm glad you brought it up. And this is what I said.
Yes.
Equity. That word is used a lot. Equity is basically equality of outcome. And that's what I mentioned. The Rooney Rule is equality of opportunity. Yes. Equity is equality of outcome. You cannot guarantee an outcome. And so by doing so, you have to move a lot of variables around, be in control of said variables in order to ensure equity. And so what they're doing is with all these buzzwords that they're using, these modern day buzzwords, what they're trying to do is trying to get the NFL to force their hand and say, hey, you have to hire.
I agree with Glenn on this one. I think George Payton is a very thorough guy.
Yes. So what they're doing is they're going to say, okay, 1/3 of the NFL has to hire a minority head coach, which is nonsense.
That can't be a thing.
Which is nonsense because it'll backfire again because you're like, okay, I'll hire him. I hired him. I'm going to fire him midway through the season.
And who do they decide has to? How do you decide which team has to do it?
So they use the term equity because, like I said, Rich, and you brought up they brought up that word on purpose because that's his argument was, okay, Rooney Rule doesn't go far enough. I don't want equality of opportunity. I want equality of outcome. I want you to guarantee that I'll get hired somewhere.
You can't
do that. You can't. It does. Life does not work that way. And so it just goes with and what they're doing, and I know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah, Rich is actually agreeing with you. He says he used that word on purpose. He agrees. So moving forward with this, I want to quickly read the Elway's statement towards this, and then we can put this talk to bed for now. Unless you have more that you want to say. But I'm pretty well, ready to just talk about what Elway had to say to defend himself on this, and then we can move into something else. The statement from John.
Okay, go ahead, read it.
Okay, all right. I mean, what?
No, because I saw Mendungus' comment, but I'm gonna read Mendungus' comment after you read Elway's statement.
This is the statement that John Elway released today in his own defense. While I was not planning, and I quote this from the statement of John Elway. While I was not planning to respond publicly to the false and defamatory claims by Brian Flores, I could not be silent any longer with my character, integrity, and professionalism being attacked. I took Coach Flores very seriously as a candidate for our head coaching position in 2019 and enjoyed our 3.5-hour interview with him. Along with the rest of our group, I was prepared, ready, and fully engaged during the entire interview as Brian shared his experience and vision for our team. It's unfortunate and shocking to learn for the first time this week that Brian felt differently about our interview with him. For Brian to make an assumption about my appearance and state of mind early that morning was subjective, hurtful, and just plain wrong. If I appeared, and I put quotes in this because he did, if I appeared disheveled, as he claimed, it was because we had flown in during the middle of the night, immediately following another interview in Denver, and were going on a few hours of sleep to meet the only window that was provided to us to interview him. I interviewed Brian in good faith, giving him the same consideration and opportunity as every other candidate for our head coaching position in 2019. That is, from John Elway himself. So there is a lot of places this could go. I don't know how. I don't think it's going to affect the Broncos as much as people think it is. I think much of what he's claiming against the Broncos is circumstantial, and in no way can he actually prove it. So
now, if different facts, if more facts come out on it, and more undeniable facts, then we'll definitely cover that and talk about it. But can you bring up Mundungus' comment?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. And I was actually going to say this today.
He said, it's like I said on Tuesday. I agree with what the NFL was trying to do, but the Rooney Rule isn't it. How do you fix it, though?
And that's the big question mark.
So what they're going to do is they're going to go in one or two directions. The first direction is scrap the Rooney Rule and just go based on Barrett's alone.
Yes.
Or the second route, what they're trying to do is they're going to try and make force the NFL's hand and make them have a quota, which saying one team out of every division has to have a black head coach.
Yeah, but they can't do that. Again, they cannot make that be a thing.
The way they're going to try and do it is the courts won't do it. See, what it is the courts won't do it because the government cannot force a private institution. The government cannot regulate or give make rules for private institutions. Yes, but I think what he was doing is it's not about the court ruling; it's about the court of public opinion. So what they're going to try and do is they're going to try and get the public opinion to be enamor the NFL with bad press and try and drop the ratings and have advertisements drop and try and hit them in their pockets so that way the NFL say, okay.
We'll fix it. Yeah.
What we'll do is we'll have one out of every 14, 25% of the NFL has to have a black coach.
Yeah. But the problem is, how do you decide? How do you decide which team has to have a coach who's a minority?
So what they'll do is they'll probably throw in a rotation or something like that.
No, that's.
But I mean, then again, what happens when you get to when it's the Chiefs rotational turn in the AFC West, and Andy Reid just won 3 Super Bowls back to back, which he won't. Let's say they do, and then you're just gonna fire Andy Reid for that quota. And so I think the only situation
all you can do is get rid of the Rooney Rule.
And it's insulting and offensive to me personally, because merit-based hiring is the only way to go. Because what it's saying is, I don't think black people or minorities in the NFL have the merits. So what we're gonna do is
make it so that you have
force their hand.
Yes,
you're not gonna hire them on their merits because black people just don't have the merits.
It's such a controversial kind of thing. And Mike said it, I said it, you said it. They did it with the best intentions. What do we used to say in the Army all the time, Isaiah? Great idea, poor execution.
Oh yeah. Good idea, poor execution.
Good idea, poor execution.
Good idea, bad execution.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is. It was a good, trying to find a way to make it better for the minority coaches. Good idea. But putting the Rooney Rule itself, and I don't pretend to be the one to know what the right answer to the Rooney Rule to fixing that problem is.
This is the way you solve it. This is the way you solve it right here. I'm going to use Nathaniel Hackett.
And then we're going to move on to our final segment.
A fantastic example.
Okay.
Evero is a black man.
Yeah.
That's Nathaniel Hackett's best friend.
Best friend.
We have compared it to me and you, Johnny.
Yeah, we best friends.
Best friends.
So what happens is,
all that, so what happens is, he was the secondary coach and the defensive pass game coordinator. Now he just got promoted to defensive coordinator.
Yep, he's getting.
Hopefully he'll be our defensive coordinator. That's based off his knowledge.
He will be
based off his knowledge, based off his merits. He's given the opportunity.
I like it, Jeff.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Evero is being considered for an opportunity, which the entire NFL knows he's coming to Denver. So he started off here, and I believe the special teams coordinator
right here. And I don't want to get too far into it this episode, but Glenn's bringing it up real quick, so I'm just going to say it. The really biggest, the one that could actually hit hard is his claim that Stephen Ross offered, the owner of the Miami Dolphins offered him $100,000 per game lost in the 2019 season in order to tank to get to a Tagovailoa.
And Stephen Ross is now is Stephen Ross the GM of the Dolphins?
No, owner.
Okay.
So that is the and then of course the secret yacht meeting with Tom Brady. That I don't know about that. I know
what
that
secret yacht meeting.
I know that if
anything's
really gonna hit, and it he did it right there. He said absolute blockbusters.
What was the yacht meeting about?
It's gonna hit. It's gonna be that.
What was the yacht meeting about?
About him possibly coming to play for Miami. I believe tampering.
Oh, tampering.
But the big one is the accusation that the owner of the Miami Dolphins offered him money,
so he's blowing
basically a racketeering charge.
So he's blowing the whistle on 2 out of the 3 things that he named have merits. I think the racism and equity claim is complete garbage so far what we've been given. Teams tanking to lose.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's a huge accusation because believe it or not, it's a federal
damper. That will put a damper on the NFL, and that'll bring that. That's almost like shaving points.
It is. It's racketeering. It's known as racketeering.
It takes away the
and
integrity of the game.
I'm telling you right now that accusation is so big because unlike the other thing with the Broncos and the Giants and the Dolphins that he's claimed the whole Rooney Rule issues. This, if proven, if during investigation it's proven that Stephen Ross did that is a federal offense.
The question, and then it leads to the next question:
Stephen Ross loses his team that he owns, and he goes to prison.
I mean, if that's the case, the question is: did any coaches take it?
Someone's at the front door.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Someone's at my front door. Did any coaches take it? That's the question. Did any coaches do that?
No, I mean, I don't think he took it. I don't think he took the money because if he did, by blowing the whistle, he's indicting. He's incriminating himself as well. But anyway, moving on. We need to move on. We got our last segment. We want the last segment we want to do. Are you prepared, Isaiah? Are you prepared to enter the Mile High Matrix? Enter the Mile High Matrix, where we ask you if you take the orange pill or the blue pill. So, Isaiah, you asked orange pill, blue pill first last week in the Mile High Matrix, correct?
No, you asked Ryan first.
Did I? I thought you did, but okay, that's fine. You why don't you go first? Bring me your orange pill and your blue pill.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave this off, and it's going to be very easy. Okay.
Orange pill. Very easy, he claims.
Orange pill, you re-signed Melvin Gordon to partner up with Javonte Williams.
Okay.
Blue pill, you let Melvin Gordon go, and then you draft a running back. Me, I'm going to take the orange pill. I'm going to re-sign Melvin Gordon.
You're re-signing Melvin Gordon?
Mm-hmm.
Preach. Why?
They both almost rushed for 1,000 yards each.
Yeah, they did.
Fumbles is an issue. Melvin Gordon knows that. But he's been harping about how much he tweeted himself, and I put in the group message. He tweeted himself, I hope I come back because me and 33 are going to tear it up.
Yeah.
So we see it.
we're seeing
Broncos country sees it. And
Yeah.
also, I don't want to make Javonte Williams the running back one, not because he doesn't deserve it, not because he can't, because I don't want him to get injured.
I'm bringing up.
I don't think
real quick. EJ says orange pill.
Yeah.
Avatar says orange pill. Jeff Brian says blue pill. Save the money.
Biggie Bronco says blue pill as well. He says draft a running back.
Draft a running back.
Bronco Bill says orange
Bronco
pill.
Bill says he wants Gordon back. Can't replace 18
touchdowns.
I like it. You can't.
Mundungus says
Great.
orange pill, $4 million a year for 2
Yep,
years.
$4
And
million a year
the
for 2
way
years.
the way he's hounded for it, the way Cortland Sutton was willing to take it, Tim Patrick. I think if you put that in front of him, and knowing George Payton is in the business of keeping the good guys.
Right.
Right.
Absolutely. So
I think Melvin Gordon will take that, and then Rich says he'll take the blue pill.
Yeah, all right. So orange pill is I want to make sure I got
keep Gordon
right. Orange pill is keep Melvin Gordon, right?
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I take the orange pill. Just at least for one more season. One more season. I think Javonte Williams is not yet ready to be running back. 1A1. To be RB1 solely. I think giving him another season with a partner, basically.
So you'd sign him for a 1-year deal.
I'd sign him for a 1-year deal. He said he wants to stay in Denver. He said no matter what, he wants to stay in Denver. So here's the thing. I think you can talk him back on his contract a bit. You can get him to reduce this time. He was not willing to do that. I know that. We know that. He was not willing to do that for the Chargers when he played for the Chargers. But I think now he'd be willing.
Because
as much as he said he wants to stay in Denver, he'd be willing to take a reduction.
And this is why I like the Nathaniel Hackett hire.
Absolutely. Outside zone blocking scheme.
What happened was that not only that, but what happened was when you have all these older coaches, and the Broncos was like the second or third youngest team in the NFL, there's a gap in between them, the coaching staff and the players.
Mundungus, did you say, can I get a hooyah? Do we look like Marines to you?
No, that's the Navy.
Whatever. Do we look Navy to you? No. Good Lord.
Cool. He said, bro, Pookie and Gordon behind his own block. Yes. So there's a gap between the coaches and the players. There's a disconnect. They weren't connecting.
No,
they weren't connecting. Maybe it was the age difference, the accountability, but they weren't connecting. So what they did was
style
is when you can
best for
as humans, what they naturally do is when you can't connect with your leaders, you turn inward and connect with everybody else. And that's what happened is that they couldn't connect with Shermer, Fangio, McMahon. So they turned inward. And so they weren't playing for their coaches. They were playing for each other. And so they developed a camaraderie that Melvin Gordon's like, I'll do whatever I have to do to stay here. And then you bring in Nathaniel Hackett, who is that missing connection. And you have all these young coaches.
Sorry, Avatar. I wasn't trying to insult you there, buddy. Isaiah,
my twin sister's Navy.
Isaiah, myself, and Mundungus. My father was Navy, so it's a lot. I have a lot of fun with this. Isaiah, myself, and Mundungus, we were all Army.
Yeah, so, my twin sister's Navy, so I make
fun. So you get it. We love the Navy. We're all, all of us in the military. We're all family. But you give each other trouble at Thanksgiving. You make jokes, make fun of each other. You play tackle football in the yard and break your cousin's nose by accident. So anyway, all right. So we agree. 1 more year at least. Melvin Gordon, take the orange pill. Take the orange pill.
Yeah, I see Jeffrey Bryan's comment. He says I'd give him $4 million with a $4 million incentive if he doesn't fumble. That results in points the other way.
All right. So we're running out of time quick. So I'm going to give my mile high matrix for the day. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is a little different. Up to this point, every mile high matrix, every orange pill, blue pill choices we've given have to do with current events. I want to roll it back a little bit, historic, just for fun. All right. So orange pill. You bring back Terrell Davis in his prime as your running back. Or ready? Or blue pill, and I'm not and not insulting his recent memory. You bring back Demaryius Thomas in his prime as your number 1 wide receiver. Which do you take and why? Me personally, as much as I miss DT and I love DT, I take the orange pill. And I take Terrell Davis in his prime as our running back.
That's a good one.
Just because of how powerful that man was. He was, and then there it is. It's already happening.
Yeah.
Jeff Bryan says orange pill. Avatar says orange pill. Richie Rich says AKA orange pill. So
now is this to put them on the current team?
Yes. If you could bring back one of these,
the crazy part is that we've got great receivers and we've got great running backs. I'm gonna have to go orange pill.
That's my point, though. At one point or another, these two were like the gold standard on our team, right? Right? They were.
Yes.
So there you go. You get to bring one of the two of them back in their prime to this current roster. Which do you pick? Matuga says purple. All right, that's funny. I say Terrell Davis. Isaiah, who do you choose?
I'm gonna go Terrell Davis as well. I mean,
all right.
We have Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick. Demaryius Thomas is fantastic, a great player. I praise in the Hall of Fame one day.
He will be,
but that
should be.
But Terrell Davis is arguably one of the is a top 3, top 5 running back of all time.
Absolutely.
So,
and his career,
I think you put them on this offense, and then you pull Quinn Miners behind Terrell Davis. That's
Whiz Kid Landon. Don't ever take the brown pill.
That just sounds wrong. Yeah, I'm about to go orange pill.
All right, and there it is. And I like Bill. I'm gonna finish this one up. We all agree it's Terrell Davis. Bill says Terrell Davis, best running back in Broncos history. So
yes,
with that, it seems tonight the entirety of the Mile High Matrix has absolutely been swept by the orange pill.
It was swept today. We had a few.
Swept today by the orange pill. So on both of the Mile High Matrix today, we both set scenarios. The orange pill has been taken by the masses. Thank you for joining us in the Matrix. Okay. Thank you all for joining us for another amazing episode of Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast on MHRT Network. It's been an absolute blast having you all here. If you have not already, please go like the video. Go like it, click. It's not hard. It's a thumbs up. It's really easy. Go click it. Subscribe, share the video, hit that notification bell, ring the bell, y'all. Ding. Ding. All right. That way, you know, when we go live, you can be part of the family. Share it out there. Let's build the family. That's what we want, right? Because we are all Broncos fans. Ultimately, we may have different ideas. We may have different thoughts. We may have the ways that we look at the world and the ways we look at the Broncos. But the point is, the one thing that unites all of us, whether it be, whether we are white, black, Hispanic, no matter who we are, no, it doesn't matter. The one thing that unites all of us in everything is that we love the Broncos. We love football and we love the Denver Broncos. So please like, subscribe, and share. Do not miss our other show on Tuesdays, MHRT Podcast, 7654 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Coming up, we will be having, I'll get to that in a second. On Wednesdays, we will have Broncos Breakdown dropping every Wednesday with Bronco Bill. 7654, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Do not miss them. Our show goes live every Thursday, same time, same place. Now, coming up very soon, Isaiah will be having his own show dropping on Saturdays, correct? Saturdays.
Yes.
Is what I was led to understand. Saturdays, it will be called Rough Draft.
Yeah.
And Isaiah is gonna offer us some really cool breakdowns and analysis of players in the draft, free agents coming up, and what we need and what the Broncos needs are. So do not miss that. Dropping soon on Saturdays. Don't have an exact date yet, but pay attention. If you hit that notification bell, you'll definitely know when it drops for the first time.
Yeah.
That being said, please, thank you for joining us. We are very, very excited. each week that we get to do this with you all. We love the Broncos. We love you, NRW crew. We love you, MHRT fam. We love you, Broncos country. So if you all would please join me for our favorite thing in the world. It started here and it's going to spread because it's going to spread like the pandemic. Please join me in a mile high five to end the show, if you would. It's been awesome to see all of you. Isaiah, would you please join me in this?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Get those arms out, and I'm going to shout, and you are going to give a high five as high as you can. Here we go. My high five! Woo! Thank you, NRW crew. Thank you, MHRT fam, and thank you, Broncos country. We will see you next week, and we are out of here.